If opening your banking app makes your stomach drop because the balance is almost zero again, the answer is not crypto, manifestation, or some fake guru's secret side hustle. You do not need a fantasy. You need your first real financial base, $10,000. Why your first $10,000 matters? I know exactly how exhausting it feels to work endless hours, cut back on everything, and still panic over the price of gas, groceries, and rent. When you are living paycheck to paycheck, your brain is constantly stuck in survival mode. You cannot plan for the next 5 years when you are terrified about how you are going to survive the next 5 days. A single unexpected event, a blown tire on the highway, a sudden dental bill, or a minor sickness that keeps you home from work is enough to completely derail your entire month and send you spiraling into credit card debt. To make it worse, everywhere you look online, someone is screaming at you to buy a secret trading algorithm, invest in a volatile digital coin, or visualize yourself driving a supercar. Chasing those flashy, overnight pipe dreams is exactly what keeps you stuck in the cycle. You cannot meditate your way out of rent, and relying on a lucky market swing when you have no capital is a terrible financial strategy. Block out the noise and focus on the first number that actually changes your life, $10,000. That first $10,000 will not make you rich, but it will prove you can create cash flow, protect it, and turn it into assets. It gives you the one thing you have been desperately missing: breathing room. It is the psychological barrier between being a victim of your circumstances and becoming an architect of your financial future. The first $10,000 is not about flex money. It is about proving you can create money, keep money, and deploy money intelligently. The fastest realistic way to create cash flow. To build that financial base, you need a realistic way to create cash from zero. There is no magic button. You have to trade something of value in exchange for dollars. When you strip away all the internet noise, there are 4 realistic ways to create cash: local labor, local products, e-commerce, and online services. Local labor is the classic grind washing cars, mowing lawns, or moving furniture. It is fast, and you can get paid today. But it is strictly capped by your physical geography and your time. You can only wash one car at a time, and if you get sick, your income drops to zero. Local products mean making physical items by hand, like custom-baked goods or woodworking. It feels fulfilling, but the profit margins are incredibly thin. If you sell a custom item for $50, but the raw materials cost $35 and it took you 4 hours to make, you are mathematically working for pennies. E-commerce and dropshipping have global scale, but they eat your cash up front through the endless inventory cycle. If you buy $500 of inventory and sell it for $1,000, you might think you made a profit. But because demand is growing, you now have to take that entire $1,000 to buy your next batch of inventory. Your business looks successful on paper, but your personal bank account remains at zero. If you need cash to pay rent this week, the inventory cycle will trap you. For someone starting with almost no cash, online services are the sweet spot. We are talking about high demand, low capital skills like short-form video editing, YouTube thumbnail design, simple copywriting, running local business ads, or setting up email newsletters. Online services are not magic. You are still trading your skill and time for money, but compared with inventory-heavy businesses, they are one of the lowest cost ways to create cash flow from zero. You are leveraging equipment. You probably already have a basic laptop and an internet connection. They require very little upfront capital, boast high profit margins, and can be sold to a global market of established businesses who have the cash to pay you. The 7-day client sprint. Your biggest enemy when starting out is crippling overthinking. You do not need to watch free tutorials for 6 months until you feel like an industry expert. What you need right now is paid practice. You need to get into the market, offer a service, and get real feedback. Here is a simple 7-day sprint to give yourself a real shot at landing your first online client. Day 1. Pick your target. Choose one simple skill and one specific target market. Do not be generic. Instead of saying, "I edit videos," say, "I edit short-form property tours for local real estate agents." Day 2. Build a sample. Do not waste 3 weeks building a website. Create 1 or 2 high-quality samples of your work and put them in a clean, organized Google Drive folder. Day 3, the outreach. Send 20 polite, targeted pitches via email or direct message. Do not beg for work. Point out a specific problem they have and explain how your service fixes it. Day 4, the follow-up. Business owners are busy. Follow up with yesterday's list and send 20 brand new pitches to new prospects. Day 5, the starter offer. When someone replies, propose a discounted starter deal. Be honest. Tell them you are building your portfolio, so you are offering a lower rate to get paid to learn on the job. Day 6, over-deliver. Deliver the work fast. Make sure it is high quality and ask them for a written testimonial. Day 7, refine and repeat. Use that positive feedback to add credibility to your future pitches, raise your prices slightly, and repeat the sprint. If you do not have a client after 7 days, do not quit. Start the sprint over for week 2. Rejection is the toll you pay to enter the business world. Once you land a few clients, the key to scaling your income is treating this like a real business, not a casual hobby. Pitch business owners who view your service as an investment to grow their revenue. Charge for the results you deliver rather than the hours you work. And most importantly, become highly reliable. The freelancers who make steady money are rarely the most gifted artists. They are the ones who never miss deadlines and communicate clearly. At the beginning, you do not need expensive software to manage this. Use a simple spreadsheet, Notion or Trello to track your leads, project deadlines, and follow-ups. The software matters far less than the habit of never letting a client slip through the cracks. I will leave a few tool options in the description, including one free CRM option if you want to organize this more professionally later on. What to do with your first $10,000. Let us say you put in the work, you stayed consistent, and you finally hit that $10,000 milestone. Congratulations. But right now, you are standing at the most dangerous crossroads of your entire financial journey. The first $10,000 has a specific job. Some of it protects you, some of it kills your debt, some of it buys better tools or skills, and some of it becomes long-term assets. None of it should be wasted trying to impress strangers online. If you spend that cash on a luxury car lease or designer clothes just to look successful on the internet, you are not wealthy. You are just a broke person with nice things. Here is the exact mathematical order of operations for your new cash flow. Step 1, set aside taxes. When you make money from a side hustle or freelance work, you are typically considered an independent contractor. That means taxes are not automatically withheld from your paycheck like a standard 9-to-5 job. If you make $10,000 and spend it all, the government will still knock on your door at tax season demanding their share. Depending on where you live, you should immediately set aside 25% to 30% of your profits in a separate account purely for taxes. Do not let the IRS catch you off guard. Step 2, build the emergency fund, the HISA. Next, you need to build your financial buffer so you never have to live paycheck to paycheck again. Take 3 to 6 months of basic living expenses and park it in a high-yield savings account, HYSA. Do not use a traditional brick-and-mortar bank for this. If you put $10,000 in a standard checking account that pays an average interest rate of 0.01%, you will earn exactly $1 over the course of an entire year. That is a joke. However, if you move that exact same $10,000 into a high-yield savings account paying 4.5%, you will earn $450 in that same year, completely passively. It is free money generated simply by choosing the right digital vault. This money is not meant to be invested in the stock market. It needs to remain liquid and safe, so you can access it immediately when an emergency strikes. Step 3, attack high-interest debt. If you have credit card balances, personal loans, or any debt with an interest rate above 7%, you must wipe it out aggressively. Carrying high-interest debt while trying to build wealth is a mathematical disaster. Let's look at the numbers. If you owe $5,000 on a credit card with a 25% annual percentage rate APR, and you only make the minimum payments, it will take you years to pay it off, and you will hand the bank thousands of dollars in pure interest. No safe investment in the world guarantees a 25% return. which means the highest return on your money right now is paying off that credit card. You can use the avalanche method, paying off the highest interest rate debt first, which is mathematically optimal. Or the snowball method, paying off the smallest balance first to get a quick psychological win. Whichever you choose, use your new cash flow to destroy this debt before it destroys your future. Step 4. Reinvest in your earning power. Finally, once you are protected and out of bad debt, take a small portion of your cash flow and reinvest it into your active income. Buy better editing software, upgrade your slow laptop, or pay for a targeted course that teaches you a higher tier skill. Increasing your active earning power is the fastest way to generate more cash to invest. Turning cash flow into assets. Once your foundation is rock solid, your taxes are covered, your emergencies are funded, your bad debt is gone, and your business is running, it is time to transition your mindset. You must stop simply creating cash flow and start buying assets. This is financial education, not personal financial advice. Your taxes, risk tolerance, income, and personal situation matter, so always do your own research. The core engine, index funds and compound interest. Your core wealth engine should be built on broad market index funds and exchange-traded funds, ETFs. An index fund is simply a basket of stocks that tracks a specific market. Instead of trying to guess which individual company will win, you buy a tiny piece of the entire market. The most popular example is an S&P 500 index fund, which holds the 500 largest, most profitable companies in the United States, companies like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. Index funds have historically been reliable over long periods, though they are still exposed to market risk and can fall sharply in bad economic times. But over decades, this strategy harnesses the massive mathematical power of compound interest. Let's look at a realistic scenario. If you take $500 a month from your new online service income and consistently invest it into an S&P 500 index fund, assuming a historical average annual return of about 8%, the math is staggering. After 10 years, you would have contributed $60,000, but your account would be worth over $90,000. After 20 years, you contributed $120,000, but your account is worth nearly $300,000. And after 30 years, you contributed $180,000 out of your own pocket, but your portfolio would be worth over $740,000. That gap between the $180,000 you put in and the $740,000 you have is the power of assets working for you while you sleep. Whenever possible, hold these investments in tax-advantaged retirement accounts like a Roth IRA or a 401k, which legally shield your massive growth from heavy government taxes. The learning bucket, individual stocks. Once your core index investing is completely automated and handled, you can explore individual stocks. Individual stocks are not safe money. You are taking on significantly more risk because a single company can make a bad decision and lose value overnight. Treat individual stocks as a small learning bucket representing no more than 5% to 10% of your total portfolio. Buying fractional shares in companies you use daily and deeply understand forces you to read earnings reports and pay attention to the real financial world, but do not let it become your primary strategy. The speculative bucket, cryptocurrency. Finally, cryptocurrency belongs at the very top of the risk ladder. Many people should avoid it completely. If you ever decide to touch it, use only highly disposable money that you can afford to lose entirely. Understand that even major crypto assets can crash brutally, losing half their value in a matter of weeks. Never, under any circumstances, use your rent money, your tax money, or your emergency fund to buy digital assets. Conclusion and call to action. Escaping the financial rat race does not require a lottery ticket, and it does not require a secret manifestation trick. It comes down to a clear, unglamorous, highly effective formula. Make your first $10,000, protect it, then systematically turn it into assets. Stop obsessing over overnight riches. Build a practical cash flow source through online services, become highly reliable to your clients, fund your safety net, destroy your debt, and deploy the rest into long-term, historically reliable investments. To hold yourself accountable right now, today, drop a comment below and tell me exactly where you are on this journey. Comment cash flow if your main focus is grinding out that 7-day sprint to make your first $10K. Comment debt if you are currently using your income to wipe out high-interest loans. Or comment investing. If your base is solid, your emergency fund is packed, and you are ready to start aggressively buying assets. Hit that subscribe button to keep building your financial foundation, and I will see you in the next video.